Greetings everyone, this is Char and welcome to the JustAskChar advice channel. If you have an email for advice, you can send it to JustAskChar@gmail.com. Today is a little bit different. I don't have an email for advice, so I was going to give just a few thoughts that I had on my mind within the last 24 to 36 hours. I was thinking about how people say things and they really don't mean it. And I wonder why we do that as a people. We say things like, if you need any help, let me know. Or I'll be praying for you. Oh, I know someone who knows someone, and I can help you with that. Just give me your email, and I'll email you some information about blah, blah, blah. Oh, I know how you can save on that. I don't have the information on me, but I'll get back to you. And I know everyone experienced this one. Hey, how you been? Haven't seen you in a while. You know, we'll have to get together sometime. You know what? I'm going to give you a call and we're going to hang out sometime, okay? And what I was focusing on, what happened with me in the last 36 hours, there was someone in the class that I'm in, and she was talking. And she saw that I was studying. And she's ahead of the class because she was there a little bit before I got there. So she was talking and she noticed that, it was irritating. So she had asked me, she said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Am I being too loud?" And I said, "Not at the moment." "Okay, well, I'll try, to lower my voice, okay?" And I said, "Okay, I appreciate it. Just let me know." I said, "Okay." So next thing I know, a little bit later, she starts singing. And it really wasn't singing, it was more like moaning. Something like that. So today in class, she's talking with this guy, which is the seat next to me. He was sitting there, and he doesn't want to study, which is, his choice. He doesn't have to. Maybe he doesn't need to. However, he says that he does. So what he wants someone to sit and talk with him one-on-one, and I guess challenge him with the questions. Not for certain, but I know he wants one-on-one because I've seen him stop a couple of people and say, "Hey, let me get over there and let me sit with you, and we're going to go through some of these questions." And I've seen people turn him down. So he's sitting next to me, and he has this material in front of him, not paying any attention to it. He says something to the young lady next to him, which is the one I was speaking about, and they start a conversation. Now at this time, we're getting to crunch time. We have this big exam on Friday, and there's a lot of information to cover. And because the week was short last week because of the holiday, they were there before us. So I had waited till the lady stopped talking, and then I asked her, I said, "Excuse me," I said, "I know it seems like you're speaking low." I said, "But your voice is carrying." Oh, okay, I'm sorry." And then I said, "And he doesn't need to listen to anything other than this work." So he does a double take because I'm speaking to him or speaking about him, and he's sitting right there. And I knew that would be the reaction. And she just agrees with me. She said, okay. So once he does his double take, I said, "Yes, I said it." And he hunched his shoulders. He giggled a little bit. And they both started, they both were quiet, which was the effect that I wanted. So he suffered for the next 2 hours, sitting there, going through his phone, pretending to do something. And I knew that's all he wanted, some entertainment. But anyway, I just found it interesting that people say one thing and they really don't mean it. And I could tell she really didn't mean it. And it's okay. That's fine. It happens. So another experience I've had, and this was a long time ago, I was on crutches. And I was still a teenager. I think I was 19. And my mom had asked me, she said, if you need anything, just let me know. And I said, okay. So maybe, I'm not sure exactly how long it was, but I asked her for something. And I don't even think I called her. I think she was just passing my room. And I asked her, I said, could you pass me whatever it was? And I think it was in the kitchen. So she was frustrated about it. And it upset me. It made me so upset because that was the first time I asked her to get me something. And not only that, she asked me to ask her if I wanted her to get me anything. So tears coming out of my eyes. And she saw that. And then she said, oh, I'm sorry, I'll get it. And then I asked her while starting to cry, why did you ask me to ask you if you didn't want to help me? And then she started crying. That was just something I remembered that happened a long time ago, experiencing people saying one thing and really not meaning it. It happens. And the last thing I'll share is an experience at a job that I had. Our supervisor, my particular supervisor, he quit. And so they had someone that's temporary. And she would come over and check us in our department to see if we needed anything and all that stuff. And at the time, work was being passed out. Everything was on paper. So what would happen is the employees, they would go through the supervisor's desk, get the easy work, and then when the supervisor comes in and passes out the work, you had the work that was a little bit more difficult to do. It really wasn't a big deal about the work being a little bit more difficult to do. The issue was there was no mixture. It wasn't anything that was easy to do and a little bit more difficult. All the work that was left that the employees sift through was harder work to do. And because of the level of difficulties to do the work, it taken longer time, and it's almost impossible. Well, actually it was impossible. That's why the employees were doing what they were doing, to get the numbers that the company wanted or that department was requiring. So because of that, the meeting we had with this supervisor that was just filling in, she was going through our numbers, and she had mentioned to me that my numbers were low. And they weren't low as in failing low or anything like that. They were just low because I had work that was more difficult to do, and I didn't get a fair share. So when she asked me one time in a meeting, which just happened to be on a Friday, I would never forget that, she asked if there was anything that she can do to help me with my production. And I said yes. I said, you can give me a mixture of the work so I wouldn't get all the difficult work, which was harder to meet the goal. And she told me she couldn't do anything. She couldn't do that. And I asked her, well, why did you ask me if there was anything that you can do to help me? You can do that. You're just not going to do that. Yes, I did say that to the supervisor, because by this time I was very frustrated in that particular department. And the next thing I know, that following Thursday, I had an interview. So I told her about the interview because I was leaving the building, because the department that I was going to was in another building. Same company, just a different location. So she asked me to tell her when I come back from lunch. She wanted to meet with me. And I said, okay. So when I get back from lunch and we meet, she gives me this write-up saying that my numbers were low. So I'm looking for the candid camera because it wasn't even a full week, and there was no way that you can measure that the numbers weren't going to be better by that full week, which would have been the next day, Friday. So I knew it was retaliation. So what I end up doing is calling the hotline for retaliation, and I gave them the information what happened. They investigated, and I won in the end because I ended up getting the job. I left the department. It wasn't too favorable for them in the end. But those are my thoughts on people say things and they really don't mean it. And I want to thank you guys again for tuning in to JustAskChar. And again, if you have an email, just send it to JustAskChar@gmail.com. And who knows, your letter may be the next letter that I read. And until the next letter, peace.